Welcome to the Photo Op Podcast, the podcast where we talk about our opinions. Photo
and video opinions.
We talk about all things photo and video related.
Crazy
I'm
how
your
names
host,
work.
Ben Lucas.
And I'm Stuart Marlantis.
And this is Photo Op.
It is.
Got that good song intro
Before we start killing the volume on it,
that,
so you can actually listen to
that YouTube keeps flagging. So if for some reason we stop posting or change the intro, you know why.
I actually pay a significant amount of money for audio licensing on this show, okay? I personally pay for it. Throw some money on the Patreon.
So yeah, that's a little annoying. If you want to pay Stuart back for that super dope intro that we do for every single episode, go to patreon.com/nomcreative. Just a little tip jar there. And I basically just give the money to Stuart because he's the one who bought the sound mixer and the mics. And the hosting. And the music licensing.
And the mounts and the cable.
Thanks for supporting my podcast.
To be clear... it was a good excuse to buy more stuff.
It was a good excuse to buy more spots. Speaking
of buying stuff.
Hey, see how I did that segue there? You like that? You like that?
Set you up for that one?
This week, we are going to talk about upgrades. What do you plan on getting? What do you plan on upgrading this
2024
year?
upgrades. It's still early in the year, so we can talk about what's happening this year.
What's happening? But before we dive into the main episode, how's your bingo card looking? So for those of you who might have missed it, hey,
why gotta do me like that?
So for those of you that might have missed it, we did an episode where we filled out our New Year's resolution as bingo cards instead of New Year's resolutions. So go back, watch that episode. We will link it in the description. I've actually
I can't remember everything we talked about because I don't think we covered every possible thing in the bingo card.
We did not cover every possible thing. Well,
go over a couple
make
things.
a bingo card. I finished filling it out.
Oh, success.
I got my free space.
We got one.
There you go.
We got one.
Some of these, the ones that I put on here, pet 50 dogs because, hey, life's better when you can pet dogs, right?
I mean, you got at least one.
I'm at 7.
7. That's actually quite a lot this early in the year.
Yeah. Right?
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Gonna knock that one out of the park.
So for working out and, date nights and all those kind of random things, it's like if there's a number of things I have to do, I'm keeping a tally. And if I finish that tally, I'll check off the box.
All right.
So, I'm making some progress here. One of the things on my list is to take finished photos of the studio space that you're looking at. And I've been working my butt off.
That's close.
Organizing and cleaning and getting everything, getting rid of old camera gear. So, theoretically, I can replace it with new stuff. Maybe. Yeah, so it's coming along decent.
Yeah.
How are you doing over there?
Similarly, it's so not exciting. Basically, what I hope I'm doing, we'll see if I hold myself to this, but sort of putting the foundation in on a lot of things and then knocking them out really quickly. We'll see. There's lots of, as we have said many times, I represent the hobbyist side of things. I have a day job that I do. I'm trying to get promoted and stuff on that.
He's got a little less time than I do. We're at the current time of year where I have finished all my client work because I'm super on top of it, and I have no current client work until the wedding shows all come through.
And conversely, lots of things are ramping up for me. Yay.
So I've got plenty of time to go through every single drawer I have and get deep organized. So yeah.
One of the things I'm notably already behind on because we're already a month through the year. I said I would make an average of one video a month. I have not, but I'm saying average.
You gotta double up.
If I make 2 this month, we're good. We're good.
Or what you can do is spend the first 6 months. What was that thing? Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to butcher this quote, but if you give me 5 hours to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe.
So it's totally a strategy. I'm definitely
you spend the first 6 months prepping yourself, and then you can do 2 videos.
That's definitely the case.
For the last 6.
Totally ahead of the game, and it's all planned. It's not just me floundering.
I'm trying to help you out, man. Trying to make you look good in front of the podcast listeners.
It's a lot of that kind of stuff. It's a lot of hey, we're getting things set up. I'm actually there. Here's one that I'm making real progress on. So I talked about wanting to have my own prints, at least one of my own prints in every room. I am actually actively going through old photos and really editing them for real to be printed, which is something that I don't usually do. I usually look at my old stuff, even if I just shot it yesterday, and say, I hate this. I never want to see it again. So I'm like forcing myself to be like, what is actually good that I actually
Amazing.
like?
I love it.
And even if it's just me that likes it, well, I mean, my wife has to like it too, to some degree. But
theoretically,
well, for my office, I can have whatever I want. But yeah, I mean, lots of stuff is kind of coming along. Like, you know, lots of organization happening, lots of like little work here and there, getting stuff lined up, getting things going, you know, getting the shop in good shape, or at least as good as I can, you know, saving up for new cars, as we both discussed.
We both had new cars on our bingo card.
Need new cars.
Yeah.
We'll see if that happens. It might have to happen under duress. Yeah. And hey, one of the other ones, as I've talked about a lot, you know, I do a lot of diving, and I like to shoot video underwater, and we're going to get into this with the upgrades too. But I am actually being cleared, hopefully cleared, we'll see. In about a week, I'm seeing a doctor to check out my broken hand and be like, you're cool, you can actually go into the water again.
Nice.
So that, although that hasn't happened, I haven't hit the water yet. That's a real thing that needed to be scheduled. I needed to go through. I have had physical therapy in the beginning of the year that I needed to clear before that was approved. Very cool. So that's an actual thing that's great. And beyond just diving and beyond just diving videos, like, you know, having a functional hand again is good. Like, I mean, that enables a lot of this other stuff.
But that is also a really good point about a lot of these goals. These goals are something that are not a single step. They're not just one thing you have to do. It's a series of many things you have to do, and you might feel like, oh man, I didn't get there. Well, okay, but if you got 70% of the way to your goal of like,
that's still great.
There's the effort. That's better than not having a goal and just watching stuff go by.
One of the things that I said as well to like have this on a happier note, I ended the episode with kind of a downer where I was like, yeah, be enthusiastic about the future, right, guys?
Hey.
You know, actually, honestly, genuinely, I am feeling pretty enthusiastic about the future. Like, I'm in less pain.
It's because he's buying more stuff.
Yeah.
It's because he's about to buy all the things we're going to talk about in the episode.
You'd be surprised. But yeah, you know, there are always things that are happening. Like,
fabulous.
Cars are breaking, stuff is screwed up, but you know what? Like, we're doing it one step at a time. We're getting through stuff. We're capable. Like, you know, good stuff is still happening, and it's good to appreciate the positives and not dwell on the negatives too much. That'll just make it crazy. So genuinely, I think, you know, future looks bright.
That's fabulous.
It's a bumpy road to the future, but it's a bright future.
That's fabulous. So what are some new upgrades that you see in this bright future of yours?
So literally bright future. I don't have
some new lights.
Any dive video lights. Like, I've been the natural light photographer underwater for the most part. I've had a couple very crappy, like super crappy dive lights that have not been good. I have a nice housing that I haven't been able to use because I broke my hand.
Dive lights are very different than normal lights.
They're very different.
They're very different. And I will say from experience, because we tried an underwater shoot in a pool and it did not work at all. Yeah. Not even a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you really need them.
You really do need them.
So I've got a nice camera. I've got a nice housing for that camera. I basically just need the last piece, which is some solid dive lights. And I think I'll be able to do that this year. There's more. I've noticed that over the past couple of years, I don't know why this happened. I don't know if it's COVID related and they saw a market, but like, there's been a couple new manufacturers that have gotten into that space, have really compelling stuff. There used to be only like a couple and they could charge whatever they wanted for honestly like not great performance. And now we're seeing more competition, more features, more interesting stuff like UV and infrared and stuff that can make things glow. It's a really cool space and it's gotten more approachable. So now I'm thinking like, you know what? I actually kind of waited the appropriate amount of time and now there's cool stuff out there and I should like, and even within budget, like it's not even crazy expensive stuff.
Normally you're very early adopters, so it's very cool to see.
Yeah, I just like sat around until the market matured a little bit, and it's good. So dive video lights could be a thing.
Cool. Do you have any other dive upgrades on your?
I need maybe not a new suit, but I need a repaired suit. I have a dry suit, which generally is very helpful in the Pacific Northwest. We have very cold water. I used to dive a wetsuit, which I was cool with at the time, and then I went dry suit, and I'm like, wow, that was terrible. Why did I ever do that? The problem with my dry suit is it's only dry in name. In practicality, it leaks a ton, and in fact, it leaks so much now that it's sort of a safety hazard. Like I can't wear it because it'll fill with water, and I will be cold, which is a problem. But also, I will be heavier, which is a problem for getting out of the water and breathing air again. So I need to do that. That's a much less fun thing, but I don't know. I've talked at length to people about it. I've tried to figure out a deal, and I think I just have to pull the trigger on it. Unfortunately, just one of those things. Yeah. But hey,
get your diving
maybe
stuff back.
Got camera, got housing, got lights, got suit. We might be able to reattempt the legendarily terrible pool shoot. I'm just saying it could happen. We have all the stuff.
That would be phenomenal. Although for our pool shoot, that was more of like fashion, kind of like hold your breath and go down type. Yeah. That wasn't necessarily scuba-y.
No, but I would just have
the dive lights and the housing.
I could sit underwater.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So
like,
we have
I would have the stuff to sit and hold a light as long as like you needed it, right?
So we have done 2 shoots with Stuart that are theoretically underwater. Shoot number 1, he was not actually underwater. He was on land, and we did a composite, and I almost killed him by crushing him with the tank. He laid on his stomach, and the tank was on top of him, and he's like, I'm going to die.
And I was in full winter gear, and it was like the summer.
And we were using hot lights.
Yeah, and genuinely, this is the closest I've ever had. Like, I don't know. I've been lucky. I haven't passed out before. I haven't like had any of those issues. Genuinely, I started seeing a tunnel converge around my vision, and I was like, wow, I must be having heat stroke or something. And I said something like, I am going to pass out in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
and that's when it's like, I'm bringing the fan, get all this weight off him. Yeah. that was rough.
Fun times. But hey, the shoot turned out really nice.
The photo was a success, even though the story is funny there. I mean, almost killing you. That's a funny story, right?
Suffer for your art.
Yeah, something like that.
Suffer for your friend's art.
The other one, we dive into a pool, but like we don't have dive lights. I have a GoPro. That's the only camera housing underwater I had. It did not work. The GoPro didn't work. The lights didn't work. We forgot to bring weights.
That's right.
So we kept floating in the pool, and I was trying to get underwater stuff, and he's like, oh, right. So I have like half an hour of GoPro footage of you just pushing on my knees, trying to get me to the bottom of the
pool. Honestly, it was just kind of an excuse to screw around.
A little bit, but yeah, we'll have to reattempt that at some point now that we're fully kitted out.
We'll have the tools. Yeah.
Let's see. So this year, it's not quite as fun, but I've got about 3 or so things I got down here. One is not necessarily an upgrade per se because I already own them, but I am determined to pull some of my things out of storage since I mentioned I've been cleaning a lot and actually freaking use them.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list too. Like use stuff you already have.
So I have one camera trigger that like I would love to like go out and do some like storm photography and lightning because when it sees lightning it triggers.
Okay, cool.
I have another little setup for that trigger where I can do splash photography where it's got like a little liquid reservoir and like a dropper, and I can drop the dropper in the exact size droplet with the millisecond delay that I need to be able to put that drop exactly where I want it to be able to reproduce a droplet splash shot. So I'd like to try some splash photography because I already own the thing. And then like I've got some fun like filters that just sit in a cabinet. I should actually take them out.
Also, ProBlends, not sponsored.
ProBlends. Yeah, we need to do more ProBlend stuff.
We do.
We've done
some stuff that people really like.
We've done some really cool stuff.
It's seemingly every time we get together and we're like, for real, we're going to shoot something with the ProBlends, cool stuff comes out and people like it. And it's like, well, damn, we should keep doing that.
Every time we do a ProBlend shot, it takes like 6 hours.
It does, for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it is.
In video.
It's a little bit rough. But speaking of filters, the other thing is I recently just purchased it. When I say recently, I purchased it a long time ago, and long story short, it was back ordered. But I finally received it. I finally got some ND filters.
Oh, okay. What kind?
Like anything specific? I specifically got the Polar Pro ND filters. I think it's Chris Burkhardt version.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you've got the Peter McKinnon one and the Chris Burkhardt one. So the Peter ones, those are variable ND filters. Well, I've had a very kind of sticky history with variable ND filters because I always get that Moray X pattern where the polarization. And the thing is, I've looked up a bunch of reviews for it, and they're like, are they good? Yes, they are. Here is the amount of distortion that you get of like the X is far enough into the corners that you don't really see it, and it's only like a third of a stop type thing, but and it's like very small and noticeable. I'm like, no, I want none. I want zero.
I looked into these at some point. Seemingly they all claim like no X, and I'm like, but
I'm looking at
they
it
do
and
have
I see it. Exactly.
How can you claim this?
Exactly. They all claim it, and they all
don't claim a little bit or reduce. They claim zero. Like, but it's demonstrably untrue.
So the ones that I have bought are like heinously bad, of like ruined my photo, so I returned them. But these were like, they're usable, but like, do I really want to spend that much money for something that diminishes my camera quality? No, I don't. So instead, I bought multiple versions of the Chris Burkhardt one, which it has a circular polarizer on top of a static ND. So I get all of the polarization of like being able to cut through reflections and stuff, but no X pattern because it's doing it uniformly to the whole filter.
Sweet.
So I bought 2 of those in various densities. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with NDs. That's one of the things that like you like. I don't do a lot of filter type stuff because a lot of it is like just do it in Photoshop. But like, nah, when you need it, you need it. Like I did a wedding in Texas, and I really wish I would have been able to have my ND filter before that, because I'm shooting it at like f7, and the random stranger in the background of the church is darn tack sharp, and I wish I would have been able to blur him out of the family photos, but now I have to retouch him out of the family photos, and it takes 10 times longer. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm shooting it like f50 or ISO 50. Like I'm as low as I can get, and I'm still like 3 stops overexposed. I'm like, well, all right, here we go.
I think we've talked about this before. Yeah. Like, I think there is desire to have like negative ISO.
Yes. That theoretically should be easy.
And people are going to say, well, there are like video cameras that have built-in ND filters. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the sensor.
No, the video cameras with built-in filters, you literally are just putting a filter in front of it. You just don't have something you screw to the front. It's like built in, but it's still an ND filter.
Exactly.
So they came in
less sensitive in the sensor. That's what I want.
So they came in. They're super nice. The magnetic closure is really tight but easy to remove. Cool. I'm actually super excited. They literally came in like 2 days ago. So I'm super excited to use them. So that's my big upgrade this year.
Great.
I'll do some tutorial on that in the future, I'm sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
How do you avoid X's in your ND filters? By not buying variable ones.
Don't buy I mean, did I spend $500 on filters? Yes, but guess what? That's kind of how much a variable one is, and now I have everything I need. And
this one weird trick to avoid the X.
I just don't do it. Just don't do variable. So like if you're shooting like video and you're on a wedding day, it's like, yeah, totally makes sense. Like get the variable. Yeah. But I'm like, nah, I don't want that. I'm super picky. I don't want it.
I want the whole frame.
I don't want the whole thing. I guess the only other upgrade, this isn't really a 2024 upgrade, but I recently switched over to Really Right Stuff ball head and plates. So I'm switching over to
standardizing on that.
Yeah, to the more like Swiss Arca instead of the like Manfrotto style. So it's not necessarily like a new thing, but I'm slowly like getting all the like plates and everything.
My influence has worked.
So all my camera gear is because
I've been an Arca Swiss guy for a long time.
I love having. Okay, so here's my deal with quick release plates. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. A quick release plate is not quick if everything is not the same plate.
Yes, exactly.
I have been on video shoots where guys are unscrewing the plate to put on a different plate because they have all these different plates for all these different heads. I'm like, what are you doing? No, pick one, you stick with it, and that's the one you do forever until it randomly snaps in half and you can't replace it anymore, and you end up going to Swiss Arca instead. Sorry, that's too real. But yeah,
standards are good, people.
But yeah, basically just organizing, using some old stuff in my closet, and making sure that everything's standardized so that it's just easy, quick swap whenever I need a new piece of gear.
The only other thing I might spend money on this year is PC upgrades. Not entirely new, but my GPU is on the fritz, which is weird because I have a newer GPU than you, and I'm like, this is a ripoff. Like, why is mine dying first?
Yeah, my GPU's been doing pretty well, but I was once hanging out with some people, and they're like, "Hey, what do you got there?" And it's old as crap, man.
And actually, mine's pretty old too. Like, you're really due for an upgrade. I'm really not, and I'm just like, everything else is good.
It
Can
works.
I just do the GPU?
I'm very much in the if it ain't broke, don't fix it camp. Yeah. So I will be running my 5D3s into the ground before I upgrade to mirrorless. Just like.
But what if you want to play Cyberpunk 2077?
It comes out on console.
True,
yeah, that's
true.
right. I said it. I play console.
Fair enough. It's a lot less hassle. You don't have to spend $600 on a GPU. Thankfully, GPU prices have dropped. Jeez. So otherwise, that would be totally out of the question.
So do you have any toys in the closet that you need to use this year?
Yes, some newer, some older. I threw a couple in the list. So one of the ones that I got actually recently. So my wife and I went to Japan for several weeks on our honeymoon last November, which we have talked about on the show a couple times. We bought a little 360 cam just for that trip. Just like it was at Costco. We had some Costco, like if you buy enough stuff at Costco, they give you like a little certificate. We had some money on that. Sure. And we're like, you know what? This is a fun thing. Like great little trip cam. You get all of the angles and you can reframe and stuff. So we got the new, I think it's still the newest one, at least in this particular line, but the Insta360 X3, like the newest of their like tall, skinny one, not the little teeny one, like the full 360 cam. And it's great. It shoots 5.7K at 30 FPS, which is pretty darn good. Even when you reframe it, low light performance is a lot better than I expected. Man. Stabilization is really good. The whole invisible selfie stick thing works really well. It's USB-C. Maybe
I need to upgrade because I had a 360 cam that was only 2 megapixels, which is not nearly enough.
Oh, and this shoots 72 megapixel stills.
Dang.
Yeah. So stills on it genuinely are pretty cool.
Okay, but for those of you that are like astounded at that, just remember that's essentially kind of like 236s.
Yeah, crammed.
So because for 360 you need more resolution. Yeah. It is required. When I say 2 megapixels, this is fuzzy as all heck.
This is at the point, even though it's like, oh, 5.7K, that's huge. 72 megapixel, that's huge. To me, this is the threshold where I'm like, this is actually usable now.
This is finally good enough.
This is finally good.
Yeah.
And so we got one of those. We shot a ton, like hours and hours and hours of video on it. The software is really good. I've had fun like going through it and like aiming and stabilizing and changing the view. It's been just super fun and I want to use it more and play around with it. I'll bring it. Ben can experience it, see if he likes it.
I mean, I've done like a 360 video like on the channel.
But I want to show you like what's the current hotness. Like,
for sure.
And so that's just been a really fun thing and I want to play with it more. They have a very reasonable dive housing for it. Previous 360 camera dive housings, you'd get like a little bit of it in the shot. This one, it like goes totally invisible. It's really cool. The footage that comes out of it that I've seen is quite fantastic. Like I've been pretty excited about it. There's a bunch of other stuff. I have a teleprompter. I bought Ben a teleprompter. I feel like we should use the teleprompters at some point for something.
Should.
I just see it on there. It's like, we both have one.
Yeah. So the thing is, there's 2 teleprompters. One of them is bigger and more cumbersome to set up and takes a while, but it works really, really well.
Yes.
And the other one is for your phone, but I haven't come up with a good teleprompter app for my phone yet. Like for the iPad, we've got that one sorted out.
Yeah.
So that's really the only reason why I haven't used the small one.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't have said I bought it. We both co-bought one, but I think
I did.
Do you have it right now?
I don't even another teleprompter.
I don't even know who has. Yes, I have. I have 2.
You have 2?
Yes.
Are you stepping out on me with another teleprompter?
So to be fair, I bought one because I was told by my employer at the time, you'll be remote forever. And I was like, it would be really cool because I already got compliments from like literal VPs and senior VPs on how nice my setup looked. I was like, what would be even cooler is if I set up a permanent teleprompter in my setup so I can make pure eye contact with people while I'm on video calls with them. And a few months after I bought the teleprompter, it was on sale, to be fair. I didn't just buy it just for fun. I was like, on sale. I already know that I want this thing. It's going to be cool in my setup. And then they said, you got to go back to the office. And I was like, well, damn. But it was already well out of the return period. And I'm like, I don't care about selling it to somebody. I'll at some point use it. So now we have 2 large teleprompters, 1 small teleprompter.
Yay.
Should we use them for something?
Yes, we should.
Pause for effect.
Actually, I have our shared custody baby teleprompter.
Okay, cool.
I did use it a couple of months ago.
Keep it because I got another one.
Cool. I had a video client where they had to do like a pitch, but the thing is like they're not like an actor. They're just a person who needed to make a video for their boss at work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, we're going to set up a teleprompter and you're going to read the script.
Nice. Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah, so it's just stuff like that. Like, you know, I got all sorts of video lights. I got all sorts of rigs. I got all sorts of C-stands. I've got a shop space. Like, for real, guys. Like, let's get this going. You know?
Let's set up your shop space.
Yes. Actually, like, let's make it not a catastrophe anymore.
Get you some electricity and French cleats.
I was doing so well, and it was like halfway cleaned, and then I just like dumped a bunch of stuff in it when my hand broke.
No.
I'm just saying... Not entirely my fault. Hand was broken. I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff that I know I'm not going to get to now. It's just going to be shoved into this corner, but I need to get back to it.
Stuart,
we're making progress.
I am personally offended that anyone would just dump things all over their floor.
You know,
this joke's only for you because I currently have stuff dumped.
He's pointing off
floor.
Camera for those of you not video watchers. To be fair to him, the pile of stuff that's on the floor is very small.
And I took it all out of all the drawers
and
so
it's
that
like,
I can get rid of
it's
some
like
of it.
4 inches tall, maybe.
Like get rid of it.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I'm getting through it.
It's a pile that you could sweep up.
Theoretically.
With some difficulty.
Mostly electronics. I wouldn't want to.
No, but you could.
It's not ideal.
I'm just saying, it's not a terrible pile. It's a very reasonable pile.
I'm getting through it. But
anyway. So I guess the story is, in 2024, don't upgrade things. Use what you have, unless you're forced to, or really want to get in a pool again.
Or
pool shoot redemption.
Here's what you can do. You can either go watch our episode on gear acquisition syndrome, see if you've got an unhealthy case of that. We'll put a link down in the description. Or what thing are you excited to buy this year?
Mm-hmm.
What's the cool thing
that
is out? Share with us what you're excited to upgrade your kit with. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we will leave it for now. Thank you so much. If you really like these episodes, find them entertaining, educational, etc., etc., you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/nomcreative. We have a $1 tip jar. You can also email us hello@photo-op.show. Did I say it right?
You got
it. Hey, I have historically gotten that wrong every single time, which is why I throw it over to you. But thank you guys so much, and send in those questions so we can keep making these topics of things that are of interest to you.
We will answer them on the show.
We do, and thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.
If you have questions or ideas for future episodes, you can email us at hello@photo-op.show.
Watch us on Ben's YouTube channel at NomCreative.
As in Om Nom Nom.
Share this with a friend, and you can listen to Photo Op anywhere podcasts are sold.
Or download it. 'Cause it's free.